дайте мені сумочку. Я вообще фанат сумок. Я любитель, коли є карман лишній. Так, ладно, давайте ще глянемо, що тут.
What happened to this place? Law. Matriarch's mercy is no safer than the trenches.
Look on the bright side. I predict that the worst is behind us.
Ah,
Де?
We're not going anywhere! Not on the basis of some half-baked prediction. This so-called exclusion zone is where we stake our claim. Stand with me in defense of freedom!
that's one way to become the center of attention.
Нічого, принудитель із ордена. Нічого собі принудитель. Типу як м'ясник чи що, ти подиви як... Як їває. А ну?
Please, don't distract me from my more pressing distractions.
Except for the fact that you ain't yelling and trying to eat me. I'd have pegged you as some sort of prosperous scrapper by the rough look you got about you. You do got a certain feral look in your eye, though. Okay. I give up. Tell me. Cheers to that, friend. When war looms its ugly head, adaptation is key. May Huffstutler, formerly Auntie's Choice, Department of Invasive Marketing. Now, the voice of the displaced. That's what those in the Order call me, leastways. An unofficial sobriquet, likely meant as a petulant slight. On account I object. Louder. More often than the rest. Those of us ended up here have very little except needs. I turned those into demands for reasons of clarity and import.
Самоотверженная бутарка, звучит благородно.
Though, admittedly, it's a difficult way to make friends. The Order's not exactly fond of me. Rabble-rousing doesn't align with their vision of a perfect universe. Happy as I am to make your acquaintance, I'm busy staking our claim over the exclusion zone, so if you'll excuse me. The exclusion zone. The Order has decided to keep us out thanks to some nebulous prediction of disaster. Screw their predictions. We have people, displaced by war and disaster, in sore need of space. There's plenty of room to house them.
До речі, я хочу попасти туди, це таке місце. Там щось якась катастрофа відбулася, ну цікаво подивитися, що там відбулося.
Thank you. That's what I've been trying to tell everyone. I honestly don't give the slightest whit about the Order's idea of math or whatever calculation tells them that a catastrophe may or may not occur. I couldn't get anywhere with Administrator Daggerwall, but you, maybe you'll have better luck. Even the Order, for all of their logical ways, value an outside perspective. And because I've run out of options. Thanks, stranger. Maybe fate's on our side for a change. You can find Agarwal in the lift building, probably formulating another equation to get on my nerves.
Видите, це мені цікаво, що це за місце. Да, тебе така велика група. Двоє чоловік, чи скільки тут? І оцей чувак мощний. Я би хотів собі таку пилочку попробувати.
Where do we go now? Another refugee camp? My noggin sure is sore.
Otherwise, don't accept anything here that's given for free. You'll pay, one way or another.
Що це за така марка? А оце... О, а можна мені таку маску? Клас! Костюмчик, ё-моё, кудись ножик. Красавець я позує. Ну, це в нього що? Це якийсь в нього Вау, круто, це костюмчик. Мені б так.
This ain't the place to go poking your nose in other folks' business.
А можна мені такий костюм? Дай. Такий класний, я би собі хотів. Вона, це ще.
You got business? No? Move on.
О, до речі.
You the fixer lent your aid to Agent Galloway? Don't suppose you got that crawling hibiscus she promised to sneak me, huh? Forget it. You can come in.
Ха! Не зря я пройшов. Так, що тут інтересно? Все, агент, ти ж типа як контрабандист.
Hello, hello. You're the one that aided us in availing Sub Rosa of a rather large shipment of Spectrum vodka, yes? Agent Galloway is slightly less trustful than most feral canids, so winning her over speaks volumes of your character. Consequently, I'm pleased to present you purchase access to my fine wares. It's fortunate you're no stranger to contraband.
Ого. До речі, да.
It's superb cover and a consistent market. Refugees are in need of all sorts of supplies that the Order cannot provide, and Sub Rosa delivers.
Не, назва
At only a
класна.
reasonable
Суть
markup.
Роза.
Myself, I enjoy the thrills of the environ. Will the Order attempt to drive me out? Will Matriarch's mercy be shelled? Shall I run out of new cereals? Oh, thrilling!
Задумка класна, бачите? Агент Субрози, Кобок. Да, тут есть щось прикольчик. Должен признать, вы отважная женщина.
Why, I thank you. Takes a unique sort to appreciate the finer points of illegal smuggling. We stand that we'd like to make a good ton of bits on the war. And maybe
Хочешь
expand our
заработать
reach
на
in the
войне? Ну,
process.
понятно же.
Beyond that, I'm not supposed to comment. But Sub Rosa consists primarily of ex-Anti's Choice and ex-Protectorate personnel. We've still got folks we care about out there. Complicates some of our feelings on the fighting. But if the fighting stops, our income begins to go dry.
А які товари в тебе є?
Idle browsers will be escorted from the premises.
Так, що тут у нас? О, бо-бо-бо-бо-бо, це треба купити. Як я купляю? Не жалко мені грошей. А це що таке? Уху. Я би хотів попробувати оці ще новенькі. Снайперку хотів би спробувати. А який сенс? Оце можна попробувати. Такі певні моменти поскладати. Так, распределите скорости движения пригнувшись. Прикольно. Когда ваше здоровье падает ниже 50%, эта модификация дает большой бонус к скорости бега. Время восстановления 60 секунд. Прикольно. Тоже интересная думка. Ну, тут такие. Так, а це що за така броня? Адаптивная инженерия. Получаемый урон может изменить режим защиты. Легкий урон менее 10% от максимального здоровья. Активирует режим с 10 к сопротивлению урону. Тяжелый урон более 10% от максимального здоровья. Активирует режим с 30% вероятности уклонения. Круто! Это ж класс! Еще плюс энергетические материалы, 3% получаемого урона автоматически преобразуется в энергию. У! Классно! Треба купить. Бля. Так, давайте продаю свои барахло. Подожди. Так, сейчас я ще барахло якесь продам. А це ж таке? А, це плазменний заряд. Тут щось новеньке. Так, давайте щось продамо. Я думаю, цей пістолет мені інтересний. Винтовка не треба. У мене... Так, це не треба. Електричний міні-ствол. Ну... Хоча можна оставити. Оце не треба. Дробаш хай буде трошки. Я думаю, це теж не треба. В мене є вже броня. Це в нас снайперка теж не треба. трошки якось почистити, щоб оцей пістолет. Треба. Дробаш з зажигательними патронами ще можна оставить. Так, броні, мені треба це продати. Це продати. Це продати. І це продати. Шляпку. Ну це класна шляпка, її ніде не знайдеш тепер. Так, що тут у нас? Броня. Може продати її, на що вона мені? Місне відео, ось бачите. Ну, з одного боку класно. Типу можна скритність покращити. Ну ладно, хай буде. Доза яд. Стояв замирання облаки. Плащ. Класний плащ, мені дуже подобається. Я не знаю, чи продавати його. Так, тут немає сенсу щось продавати. Вроді би все. Але броня це круто, це крута штука. А ну давайте глянемо, як виглядає. Мені оця броня нравиться, ось вона класна. Здоровье владельца опускаете ниже 35, рядом появляется дымовая шашка, время восстановления 10 минут. Но оно уменьшает в зависимости от навыка скрытности. Классная штука, ну, чисто для снайпера, скрытность. Материалы со скидкой, ну це типа як дополнительне. А оце, да, оце крута штука, але ж... Ай, але виглядає, конечно. Зато защита капець какая. Давайте побігаємо в неї. Адаптирована інженерія. Я ще хочу її прокачати і буде крутая штука.
Greetings. What can I help you with? Let me guess. One of your co-occupants is always hanging up his or her britches in your corner of the yurt. Am I right? Or you're dealing with more of a stay off my pallet or that's my air you're breathing sort of thing. Pray elucidate the exact nature of your tiff of contention.
Інтересний колір волосся. Чи це з народження, чи це вони покрасились? Так, у мене представлені матотер і матч.
Oh, really? Like they strung a few words together in a row and it all made sense? That's a marked improvement on earlier. Guessing they left out a bunch, though. Here, in Matriarch's Mercy, if you're not a member of the Order, you're probably living close to somebody else. In some cases, sleeping on top of them. Sort of thing tends to cause friction between neighbors. Would lead to fights, but nobody here wants trouble with the Order. So they hire our hooligans to battle by proxy.
Щось мені чуйка, якщо було б круто, я не знаю, чи так буде. Дивіться, написано авантюристка. Супроси Тільда. Ну я би хотів би в себе команду мати її. Реально інтересний такий персонаж. А, ну до речі, давайте.
It's the Order, so they don't kick you out or nothing. It's all community betterment volunteering. If you're former Auntie's Choice, it smacks kind of like work for free. If you're former Protectorate and it don't involve Automax, it's all terrifyingly mystifying somehow. We say whoever wins the fight wins the argument, but frankly, it's never anything of consequence, like, okay, hurrah! This guy gets back his mangy button. Now, how can I help you exactly? Ugh, a tourist. Well, clear out then, huh? Can't have you scaring off real customers. I got a bunch of yeggs, 2 pugilists, and a cicada to feed.
Медвежатнику. Жалко, я хотів би її реально така інтересна. Ладно, не буду її чіпати поки що. Але мені сподобалося, що побачимо як броня. Давайте подивимося зі сторони.
Look, your nose was just a stand-in for Froart, no?
Don't feel like no stand-in.
Ну таке, давайте ще раз отак. Ні, ну чого, нормально. І з шлемом вообще саме то. Наче прям спеціально зроблено для цього з цим шлемом. Наверное, це цілий комплект, наче получився, дивіться. Ой, зараз. Подивіться, ну реально, це наче під прям індійчический під цей шлем. Що нормально? Бачите. І пушка якраз підходить. Так, а що це робиться?
What happened to this place?
A visitor. Without notice.
Це хто такий?
Hello. You weren't mentioned in my latest personalized order projection. I mean, prediction. Granted, I mostly skim the parts what don't cover probabilistic dangers, so perhaps you were alluded to in some, you know, roundabout fashion. Suppose that means you're not a threat. So that's good, right? Yeah, I reckon that's good. I'll say, I try not to make any big plans until I consult my latest POP. First time I got a POP, it was on a lark. It said, Rollo-nast, our seer has predicted you must wear a helmet today. I borrowed one, as a laugh. Everybody ribbed me about it. Just after lunch, wind picked up on the cliff above and dropped a mock apple 152 meters straight down onto my head. Fortunately, I still had that brain case on. I mean, if you want an exact estimate or percentage, talk to them. As for me, I just got that, what do you call it? Anecdotal feedback. A few times, I couldn't make heads or tail of half of it. Like, avoid anything representing whole numbers. I didn't know what to do about that. So I just stayed put. End of the day, I'm still here, and my co-occupant Ike isn't. So, I guess them prognostications work well enough.
Вы хотите сказать, что прогнозы от Ордена вам помогли?
You did catch the part I said they'd save my life, right? I think alive is a notable improvement on dead. That's something you can take to the bank, you know? Figuratively speaking. I don't know why the other displaced have been so slow to take to them. But I'm not complaining too loud. Waited for my latest POPs long enough already.
Интересно, интересно. Що це за толпошник? А, диви, банда збільшилась. Перед цим же ж їх було вообще там аж. Як забрати. Так. Ключик надо. Колечко. Воу-воу-воу. А. Так. Да, реально, дивіться, як толпа вже якась. На що вони готують?
Where do we go now? Another refugee camp? Another colony?
I predict with an 8.23
Так,
margin
наче
of
при
error.
всіх глянемо.
Welcome. Have you come to bask in the Order's knowledge?
Predictions. You don't even know multivariable calculus.
Just trying to cheer you up.
1,068.5 pardons, but my attention is presently 99.81% occupied, coordinating provisions and supplies for the displaced. Well, if the archivist said so, I suppose I can factor out a moment. As the assigned provisioner, I am responsible for coordinating the requisition and distribution of comestibles, medicinals, and miscellaneous vital supplies. The overwhelming majority of my time is dedicated to this, leaving only moments to see to the Order's needs in the settlement. But it is an effort I undertake with great relish. You may not have noticed, but the refugees do not want for food or medicine.
Мне жаль, но даже сами переселенцы вряд ли это захочут.
With the great disruption that has occurred to their lives, one can hardly blame them. That they are fed and remain healthy is sufficient for me. The Order of the Ascendant is dedicated to the ascension of humanity. Our ultimate goal may not be reached in our lifetime. If I can help others in need today, I shall do so to the utmost extent of my abilities and resources.
Ладно.
Appreciate you respecting my time.
Давайте, такі ж зайняті люди. Так, а це якісь одні справи.
What is it? I have 15 seconds of allotted time for non-specific discourse, so Choose your words with expediency. Oh, don't tell me. You're here on behalf of the voice of the displaced, aren't you? Mathematical predictions always keep us one step ahead. My latest augury noted that a stranger would come bearing an inconvenient message. This is about the exclusion zone, correct?
Математические прогнозы, бачите, вычисления.
Or that it only that simple, but she ignores essential variables of the equation. You see, the seer predicted that a calamity would befall the exclusion zone, warning that the barrier must not be crossed. But the ever-disruptive voice of the displaced is dead set on occupying the exclusion zone anyway, laughing in the face of certain peril.
Похоже, она готова принять ответственность за свои действия. Насколько опасно?
We don't know, and therein lies the frustration. The seer has augured death for anyone who enters the exclusion zone. Yes, you heard me right. Death. Furthermore, and I quote, an outside mediator, having earned the confidence of both sides, has a high likelihood of clearing up an ongoing dispute. And now the voice has involved you. How auspicious. Perhaps you are the outside mediator who was foretold.
Посредника ставлю. Давайте еще начнем.
The first step is to familiarize yourself with every angle of the dispute. Talk to the people of Matriarch's Mercy. The displaced want the exclusion zone. We want it kept off limits. We can't both be right. With your seasoned perspective, perhaps the voice of the displaced will learn to listen. Any questions before you get started? I can tell you she's a rabble-rouser of the highest order. Still, she cleaves to her principles. That's something. You can find her outside, among her people, stubbornly defying an order barricade. But you already knew that. Novice Seer Vicarage should have ample time to illuminate you on the Order's forecast modeling methods. He's just down the room from here.
Значит, если я узнаю мнение каждого, то заслужу необычное доверие.
According to predictions, yes. Or at least, my interpretation of them. I am reasonably certain, more than usual, in fact. Many people around camp support or object to our methods. Speak to them, form your own opinion, and when you are ready, we will decide the fate of the exclusion zone.
Yes. You may peruse to your heart's content, but do so speedily, for my sake.
Нічого собі, у них уже є той самий плазменний рюкзак. Я пам'ятаю. Ух ти, а це що таке вже? Економія движения. На движении в режиме ТСВ больше не тратится энергия. ТСВ, а що за ТСВ? Подожди, не помню. Це, наверное, замедлення оцього, як режим замедлений. Кроме того, энергия расходуется на 10% медленнее, а с навыком науки на 30%. Энергетические материалы 3% получения урона автоматически производятся в энергию. Тоже прикольно. Капець, як не одне, то друге, але ж дуже дорого. Це мені не інтересно, це таке. О, бачите, шлем плазма мечик. Багато чого цікавого, ну тоді треба, може, купити, я що собі замічу. Єсть.
By the law. It's you.
Я?
Oh, thank the architect you're finally here. I've scarcely breathed while hoping you'd come. I am in desperate need of your help. Forgive me. I had almost lost hope of seeing you in the flesh. You see, the Seers are members of the Order who labor over the universal equation. Even in its unfinished state, the equation gives them the means to predict the future. Recently, I had a rare opportunity to ask the Seer for guidance. He told me that a dashing outsider would answer my prayers. I feared the prediction was a fluke, but here you are, a dashing outsider standing before me.
Ще? Так, орден разработали уравнения, которые вычисляют непознаваемые. Как такого можно?
Strictly speaking, it isn't. Not yet. But the math is very, very, very good at predicting what is probably most likely extremely possible. In theory. Within a margin of error. Anyway, that is the seer's business. My business is the health and welfare of this camp. Where to begin? There are so many sick and wounded in Matriarch's mercy, and I have but 2 imperfect hands. I am but a humble general practitioner. What I really need are specialists, and the seer predicted an outsider would find them.
Might have time to patch up 1 or 2 patients before we head out. I used to be a combat medic. A good one, too.
You also strike me as someone on the go. I need committed medical employees, not a freelancer. The seer gave me a datapad with explicit instructions that I not read it, for my intervention could only throw probability into disarray. Now, take the datapad, with my thanks.
Ну что ж, возьмите датапад. Заранее спасибо. Я с этим.
How can I be of service? Since you aren't a refugee, I hope you understand that I cannot offer my goods free of charge, but my prices are fair.
Так, що тут у нього? Оу, парфюма. Так, 450 ОЗ. Так, определено времени. Праймер, который постепенно восстанавливает умеренное количество здоровья. Эссенция бодрости кило. А чё, прикольно. Да, давайте. Аптечку берем. Знадобиться. Так, что это такие дополнительные для промера. Так, медицинского ингалятора. Да, вот не помешало ингаляцию. Так, це все якісь матеріали. О.
You're right. The universe does not orient itself toward fairness. But it's my firm belief humanity can do better.
All evidence to the contrary.
Ooh.
A sporadic outbreak of belligerent zealots characterized as having cobwebs in the attic throughout those
I pleasantly anticipated this exact moment. My personalized order prediction and weekly prognostics report both mentioned encountering an unforeseen factor about now. I suppose that designation doesn't wholly apply to you, though, does it? Predicting future events is an imprecise science. Currently, that is. Well, then. I read that you'd have questions about our predictive methods, correct? We utilize a mix of proprietary research methods to gather as complete a data set as possible, and advanced calculations using well-honed models to effectuate it. None of us predict events with complete accuracy or absolute detail. We'd need to solve the universal equation to do that. Fortunately, we're all working very hard on that problem. The Department of Predictive Analysis provide weekly prognostics reports and personalized order predictions to help steer our followers' paths. The Department of Predictive Analysis is mainly populated by seers like myself, who represent the Order's most talented mathematicians. After years of study, some can predict events a few seconds or minutes into the future with reasonable precision. Others can estimate with up to 71.1% accuracy several months out. Of course, predictions have grown more difficult with the loss of the archive, but I am not to speak of that with an outsider. No offense.
Дуже цікаво, знаєте, за допомогою математики чи прогнозом накладати на якусь певну модель, і вони приблизно знають, що буде далі. Непредвиденные факторы мешают вам состоять в...
The former are generalized forecasts for groups or settlements. The latter are more specialized to individuals and take far more time to calculate. Usually some are handled by one of the more senior seers in a region. But with Seer Wiley's days taken up advising the abbots and other things, this responsibility falls to me. Regrettably, I have built up a bit of a sizable backlog.
Это предикторий. Я ожидал, что помимо слова.
True, my situation does lack a certain refinement. Regrettably, this is Matriarch's mercy. We all must do the best we can with limited means. Matriarch's mercy is brimming beyond capacity with those cast out by war. But we of the Order rise to every challenge and continually strive to better our guests' existence. Why I, for instance, have availed my predictive methods to our refugee neighbors in the area.
Почему я не вижу здесь тех, кто беженцы?
I share the very same surprise. Engagement is admittedly rather low, but at least one member of the camp reports he has benefited from them greatly. One of our recent guests, Rollo Nast, has received multiple personalized order predictions. I believe he could speak to the effectiveness of our ways firsthand. If my own humble assertions are not enough, I trust his attestations would convince you, and perhaps other members of the displaced as well.
Якось дивно, реально.
I foresee you have much to do. I won't keep you. Adieu.
Adieu. Ніфіга себе пушка у мене. Крупно, чуть мені. А, вызвать бит. Тут можна якусь інформацію знайти. Скільки кров'яки. Хоч би прибрали. Тут ще є дві поломаний, клас. Таке.
Ah, you must be the, Earth Directorate agent I was told to expect. Your punctuality is commendable. Allow me to welcome you to Golden Ridge. I'm afraid I've no refreshments available, but can I interest you in a customary debate over decidability?
Нет, спасибо, не могу отвлекаться, развлекаться.
Sensible. Straight to business, then. The presiding bishop sent word of your imminent arrival. However, pursuant to our normal standards of compartmentalization, she was scant on the details of your mission. That said, I've been instructed to assist you however I can. So, tell me, what brings you to Golden Ridge?
Мне нужно поговорить с Виктором Клементом. Говорит, он член Ордена.
Victor? Oh, yes, Archivist Clemens. Quite the mind. Such encyclopedic knowledge of engineering. One could almost mistake him for an exemplar. Is he in some kind of trouble?
Victor Clemens, some kind of radical. What an absurd notion.
I must agree with my seer. I once watched Victor shed copious tears over a damaged datapad. It's difficult to imagine him capable of worse. And that may well be true. But our standard of proof within the Order is not normally met by hearsay alone. Victor's currently supervising highly experimental research at one of our labs to the northwest, the N-Ray range, beyond the invaders' front lines. Unfortunately, you'll need to go through the decommissioned autonomous extractorium to reach it. That path is less than safe, so I advise caution.
What business is it of yours?
Let's not be unfriendly. The agent's only curious. Obviously, Victor's work has something to do with N-rays, but beyond that, I haven't a clue. More of that pesky compartmentalization, I'm afraid. Besides the highly caustic Zeranium River and the Mantisaurs, we've also received reports of mad cultists in the area. It does make me wonder why Victor decided to stay. Indeed. They began showing up with their inane theories prior to the invasion. The first sign of dysfunction in the Protectorate. Always starts small, doesn't it? Loath as I am to admit it, there may be some merit to your worries over a conspiracy within the Order, whether Victor is involved or not. As my predecessor would remind me, denying unpleasant facts is not good science. I would be remiss if I failed to support an investigation. No doubt you heard of the recent attack launched on that Auntie's Choice base, Outpost Opportunity. It came from one of our facilities, the Zeranium Manufactory. But that facility is intended for research, not military action. I hate thinking an Order member responsible, but given the precision of the attack, it does suggest traitors in our midst. It would undoubtedly benefit both of us to root them out.
Respectfully, Scholar, given current tensions, should we really be trusting such a delicate task to this stranger? Would an internal review of our ranks not be more appropriate? Choosing levity at a moment like this is only further evidence of your lack of good judgment.
I don't dispute the need for discretion, my friend, but the presiding bishop made the determination to send the agent to us. It's best we trust her calculations. Moreover, our situation is growing increasingly dire. I can't overstate my fears concerning this most recent attack ending the ceasefire and reigniting the war in Golden Ridge. One more thing. Your investigation into the traitors takes precedence, but if you could also render aid at Outpost Opportunity on our behalf, such a gesture might preserve the peace. Most assuredly not. It would eliminate the entire point of the ceasefire. Well, please convey that fact to whomever you speak with. I knew I could rely upon you. Ruth wouldn't have sent you otherwise. Here, take this writ of investigative inquiry. It'll grant you access to the manufactory. Seer Wiley and I will conduct our own inquest into these traitors you've mentioned erstwhile. We can compare notes once you've returned with your findings.
How do you do, stranger? Always nice to see a friendly face around Matriarch's Mercy. Though it's a pity I can't lend more aid to our downtrodden collective. I'm just a humble taxidermist. What? And you think that's me? Listen, friend, a little skill with needle and thread does not make me a qualified medical professional.
Look, this place ain't exactly crawling with experts, and Doc needs all the help he can get. Even if all you do is suture wounds, your services will be invaluable.
Have it your way, then. I know when I'm being voluntold. But you better make it worth my while. Before I agree to anything, I need sprat corpses. Several. And no victims of violence, please. My art depends on the quality of the sleeve. The term is industry standard. And a taxidermist without standards is never a pretty sight. I used to source all of my sprats from a local trapper, Frankie Billings. No idea if she's still in business. Word has it she's out north in Auntie's Choice territory, so watch yourself. Fresh being the operative word. My thanks, stranger. Any luck with the sprat hunt? I used to source all of my sprats from a local trapper, Frankie Billings. No idea if she's still in business. Word has it she's out north in Auntie's Choice territory, so watch yourself.
Do you believe Arcadia shall ever return to how it was?
I wish. Between the invaders, order defecting.
Так, конечно, какие интересные поместим.
Got my lamps on and on front.
А, якісь пауки. Вау, класно! Але не